Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and if you're new here, I do a lot of PCOS content as well as other lifestyle musing situations. So thank you for coming and watching, and welcome to the Sister Squad. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 physical signs that you have PCOS and what you can do about them. So let's get right into it. So the first sign, which is usually the most obvious sign for women, is that you have irregular periods or non-existent periods or periods that last way longer than they should. So a solution to this is obviously first stop shop, go see your doctor where they can do a hormone test to determine why you are not getting your period. Once they do that, they can actually see which hormones you have too much of or too little of, and that will let you know where they can go from there. A lot of doctors will recommend going on the pill. But a lot of women don't understand is that the pill doesn't actually give you a real period. So when you're on the pill, you're not actually ovulating and releasing an egg. It's a withdrawal bleed. It's not a real period. So if a doctor says, well, I'll put you on the pill so that you get your period, what they're saying is they want you to have your uterine lining shed so that it's not as cancer. You basically have a higher risk of cancer if that blood kind of builds up. So they want you to kind of dispel of that blood somehow. So they'll usually, number one, offer you the pill. Sometimes it has to do with weight. Sometimes it has to do with stress. There's so many options, but if it's PCOS, it's usually a weight or hormone issue. Another test you can do is called the Dutch test, which I am such a huge fan of. So once you go to your doctor and they say, yep, we've taken your hormone blood profile and it looks like you're missing this or you have too much of that, what you can do is something called the Dutch test. You have to pay for it out of pocket, at least in Canada anyway, but it's the only test that actually measures your hormone fluctuations throughout the day. So you basically like pee on these little sticks at specific times throughout the day, and then what they do is they can actually see like how your hormones are being metabolized, how they're changing throughout the day, which was life-changing for me. I have a whole video on that which I will link down below for you, but that allowed my doctors and naturopaths to actually see specifically what I was lacking and what my body needed, and then gave me the correct medications or supplements that helped with that. So that's my solution. The number 2 sign that you have PCOS is sudden weight gain or very easy weight gain. For me, I had gained 35 pounds in 1 month by not changing my diet or lifestyle at all. And that was a huge red flag. This is normally due to PCOS being an insulin resistance syndrome. So PCOS affects your insulin levels. When your insulin levels are high, you have high resting glucose. You could be pre-diabetic. A lot of women with PCOS are diabetic. And a lot of women with PCOS gain weight specifically around their abdomen area versus other places. But obviously, for me anyway, it was like everywhere. The way to go about this, which really helped me, was changing your lifestyle and changing your food intake. On this channel, I don't believe in any diets, especially fad diets, so I'm not going to ever promote the latest trend. But what I can promote with PCOS, which has worked for me, is lowering your processed sugar intake, as well as taking supplements, which I'll get to in a second. Lowering your processed sugar, so for example, lowering your like cookies, pasta, muffins, crackers, chips, all of that kind of stuff will spike your insulin, and basically it's gonna go like this throughout the day because our insulin is so high to begin with. What you want with PCOS is like this throughout the day, and that really depends on your food specifically, and that really has helped me. I know that if I like experiment and I like cut all processed sugar out for 1 month just to see how my body reacts, I always lose weight. Always. I never cut out like fruits and like all that kind of stuff, but there are so many amazing alternatives now to even candies that are like sugar-free. There's an array. So that would be my number 1 tip. Number 2, for exercise, it's better to do weights versus like high intensity exercise. And the theory behind that is your testosterone with PCOS is already high, and your body is already under basically chronic inflammation and chronic stress. And by doing something like F45 or like CrossFit or whatever, you're kind of just like pushing your body over the edge. And so The studies have found that women respond better to doing just like low intensity exercise, such as going for walks or a light jog or yoga or Pilates or weights. So I found a huge difference when I incorporated, like, what's that called? It's not called weights. There's a name to this type of exercise and I can't think of it. Okay, well, you know what I mean. Using weights at home or at the gym, whatever. That will greatly help with weight as well. Also, go and check with your doctor your resting glucose levels. They might prescribe you something like metformin, which helps lower your glucose, basically your resting glucose levels. It's used for people with diabetes. My recommendation, which is like my ride or die, and you guys know on this channel, is berberine. I am obsessed with berberine. I notice a huge difference because those of you with PCOS know that there are, like, before berberine, it was like I was never full. I could literally eat and eat and eat and eat and I was never full. I had so many cravings, and berberine, which has clinically been shown to do the exact same as metformin. It also helps with digestion, so it's kind of like a double whammy. It just helps, again, lower those glucose levels, and it'll make you have less cravings. It'll make your blood sugars stable, which will cause your insulin to spike less, which will result in less weight gain. Is it a miracle pill? No, it's on a diet pill where you take berberine and like you've dropped 10 pounds. That's not it at all, but you will notice how your body now doesn't need as much food, like excess food, that it did before. Be aware, both, I always say metformin, but it's metformin. Metformin just sounds better. Both of metformin and berberine, because they're lowering your sugar levels, a lot of women experience nausea, especially from metformin. That's why I personally couldn't take it, because I just felt so nauseous all day. My tip with that is obviously try and take it with food, but if it's not working for you, then like this is not the be all end all. So talk to your doctor and figure it out from there. Okay, the next sign that you have PCOS is you have horrendous cystic acne. I'm not talking about like, oh, I got a spot, or like, oh, I have like 2 pimples. Like, no, like acne that will not go away. It's usually around the chin area. It's painful. It takes forever to surface. If it ever surfaces, you break out all the time. It's just like a non-stop party up there. If you go to my old videos, I struggled with like horrendous acne my whole life, and I will tell you what I did specifically with PCOS to help that. So first of all, acne, especially cystic acne with women in PCOS, has to do with your androgen levels. Women with PCOS have higher androgen levels than a typical female their age, which is why your body produces excess oils, which leads to acne and bacteria buildup and all that fun stuff. So I've tried everything. So I'm gonna let you know my experience. The number one thing, which is also goes with the weight gain, is sugar. When you lower your sugar intake, you will see such a difference with your acne. I also used things prescribed by the doctor, such as benzoyl peroxide, which I believe now you can get over the counter, and retinols. Both of those used to have prescriptions, but I believe for sure retinol, and I'm pretty sure benzoyl peroxide you can now just get at like your local drugstore for fairly cheap. Those things really help with acne. So if I were you, okay, let me think of a step. If you are someone who is dealing with hormonal acne, I would say step 1 is really lower your sugar intake. Step 2 is maybe pick one, because you can't use both ever at the same time. So maybe choose benzoyl peroxide or retinol, whichever is cheaper. I would go with benzoyl peroxide because I have a really good experience with that, and it also helps fade acne scarring. Well, so does retinol, but okay. Your next step is if topical treatments aren't working, what's worked for me in the past is like acne facials. So going to see an esthetician or a dermatologist, they can help clear out the acne. They also have really amazing lasers and lights that kill the acne bacteria. And I kid you not, like I couldn't do it personally a lot because it's expensive. Like it's like hundreds of dollars for these specialized facials. So like that just wasn't feasible for me. But hey, if you have the money, I would just go to town. Like if those things aren't working, what I chose to do was go on Accutane. What your doctor will definitely recommend is the steps I said to you. They're not going to go from 0 to Accutane. They're going to say, have you tried benzoyl peroxide? Have you tried retinol? Have you tried facials? Have you tried diet and lifestyle, like your stress and all that stuff? And after you say yes, 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 the next thing they're going to probably prescribe for you is either spirolactone or birth control. Spirolactone is specifically to help lower androgen levels. So a lot of women with PCOS take spirolactone because it helps with like hirsutism. You know, us ladies with PCOS get like hair growth everywhere. Like I have full stash, beard, arms, like a whole sitch going on. Taking spirolactone like takes that away because it lowers your androgens. Lowers your androgens. It helps if you're dealing with hair loss with PCOS, which I dealt with as well. It helps restore that. It helps with your acne. All of those things like hair loss, excess hair growth, weight gain, and like hormonal acne all have to do mostly with your androgens and testosterone. So spirolactone basically puts them at a level they should be, like suppresses them a bit, which then in turn gives you all these amazing benefits. So they'll recommend that, or they'll recommend birth control, and birth control will be given to you specifically on the hormones that like your doctor will know which one will probably work best for you. There's hundreds of kinds of birth controls, all with different hormonal profiles, and your doctor will know one that matches your blood work based off of your PCOS or based off your hormone levels. If all those don't work, then, I mean, at least in my case, because I asked for Accutane for like a hot minute. I asked for Accutane for like so long, and I was always denied. So finally I was given the option for Accutane, and I like hemmed and hawed about it for years, and it's the best thing I ever did. Did I have a good time taking it? Absolutely not. Those are your options. So number 4, or the 4th way you know you have PCOS, is if you have hair loss or hair thinning, and at the same time excess hair growth in areas that you didn't have hair growth before. For people with PCOS, again, this is all have to do with your androgen levels, which again ties into your insulin levels. Like it's all connected. Unfortunately, all of the symptoms that come with PCOS, there's a lot of physical ones, and they're not pleasant. Lucky for me, I'm getting hair pop up in areas I didn't know existed. Okay? I'm getting like, I always had like a hair here, which is like totally normal. Always had like a bit here, but like I'd say the last like 4 or 5 years, like full on beard happening all here, all the way down my stomach. The hair on my arms has gotten like thicker, like just like I'm noticing I'm getting like some like starting to like in random spots. This is completely normal. There are ways we can fix this to an extent. To be clear, PCOS is not curable yet, so there's only ways we can manage the symptoms. We can never cure the symptoms. So the first thing you can do, again, I always recommend going to the doctor, getting your hormones checked. If it's a simple case of like getting your hormones balanced a little bit more, that might help. Your doctor, again, may prescribe something like birth control or spirolactone, like I mentioned before, which will help your androgen levels, which will decrease the hair growth / hair loss. You can also try like some topical treatments first, which like will work, but like nowhere near a spirolactone. So for me, I tried using Nioxin, which I also made a video on. Does my hair feel thicker? Yes. Do I notice less hair growth, like less hair fall out of my head? Yes. So it helps with that. Is it a significant amount of difference that you would have seen on a medication, like a prescribed medication? No. At the same time, Nioxin doesn't help with like facial hair growth. In terms of facial hair growth, the only proven method that is like a one and done, never coming back, ever, electrolysis, which I'm in the process of doing. And I'm gonna do a whole video on that because that's a whole different beast. But with electrolysis, it is the only, and you can Google, talk to your doctor, whatever, it is the only FDA proven method for hair loss that is permanent. The last sign you have PCOS is you have cysts on your ovaries. How do you find you have cysts on your ovaries? Some women say that they have like pain in their pelvic region or in their back region. A lot of women with PCOS have cysts on their ovaries. Usually your doctor will do a blood test, ask you questions, blah, 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 blah. The last thing that he or she will do will basically ask I can't speak for everyone. In Canada, what they'll do is they'll then ask if it's okay if you have a pelvic ultrasound. What this will do is they will be able to actually see your ovaries and see if there are any cysts. If the imaging goes back to your doctor and they think that it's fine, then you won't have to get them removed. If they find that it's dangerous, then they'll say, okay, we think we should operate and remove these ones. Most of the time, for most women, they're not dangerous, but some of the time they are. So like this, it's really important to do it. I personally get an ultrasound every single year to monitor my cysts and monitor my ovaries. Okay, so those are the top 5 signs that you have PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome. If you are someone that is experiencing even 3 of these signs or 2 to 3 of these signs, I would go speak to your doctor and let them know what's up. It took me way too long to figure out that I had PCOS, and just the research and information is so much better now. So definitely go talk to a doctor. And I think after having this discussion with you guys, I think I'm going to make another video of the other signs you have PCOS. So thank you for watching to the end. Please like and subscribe because it really helps support my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.